Hello, students. So we'll start with another section of cloud computing architecture that are SOA, service-oriented architecture, grid, and cloud computing. So how these services are being involved with grid and cloud computing. So we'll study on that. This was a common architecture for high performance computing. So it involves interface layer, middleware layer, and resource layer. In the interface layer, so there are desktop application or web client or Android apps or some kind of app. So what it communicates with the job manager of web service, and with that it communicates with the simple object access protocol. So messages, and that is further communicated to the some web services, and web services are further communicated to the some high performance resources or some storage system. Then the reply of the whole processing goes to the desktop application. Next, what is difference between URL and URI? So URL are for basically for human, for HTTP and HTTPS were there, but URI is for the for machine to interact with. So web services are for software, not for humans. Means web services are having automated programming type of thing that could be used by another automated programming client, and then the client communicates with web services kept on server. So websites are different and web services are different. Web services are for software to communicate. So there's two part. One is client that we make at for the client desktop, and one part we make for server, and that is web service. And from the client part, there's some request goes to the server web service, and response came from that web service. Whole the process is being automated and all. So for example, this get weather information for a particular zip code. So that zip code goes to the web service, and the weather cloud or some summer or how much temperature was there in the city come to the client. And web services uses HTTP. So web services also uses HTTP protocol for communication as an application layer protocol to exchange the SOAP messages. So SOAP messages goes over the network on HTTP protocol. Next, web service invocation. So web services invocation are basically sequence of web service invocation process in which this first thing it does discovery of that service, means identify which service we have to request and which service we have to process, and where's that service could be found. Then server A sends that this was the location for that web service, and then it will ask for WSDL, means web service descriptive language, for communicating with client to the web server for web service communication. Then WSDL link came up, and then client prepares SOAP message or SOAP request, and that SOAP request goes to the web service, and then the web service replies that SOAP message as the SOAP response for that particular weather application, and client will get that SOAP message as the result. So this whole client and web service part were automated, means client is also an automated application. Next, so this was the inner detail of how that part of that remote procedure call, or we can say automated web service part was there. So there's a term called marshalling and unmarshalling. So marshalling means serializing some of the request, and unmarshalling means deserializing some of the request. So stub was there. Stub is a kind of API for doing marshalling and unmarshalling. So one logic says that if we send our request in a particular sequence, means parameter one for parameter one value that we send is for parameter one inside, which will go inside that web service. Then value two will go to the parameter two. Similarly, value three will go to the parameter three. So this is how this serializing means. And for this serializing, first marshalling will be done, means preparation of that serials would be done, and for unmarshalling, deserialization of that sequence of values would be done. So in case of SOAP request, marshalling or serializing would be done, and that SOAP request was sent over HTTP protocol, means on internet, and then when SOAP request came to the server at the location of web service, so unmarshalling or deserializing of that SOAP request will be done. When SOAP request or SOAP request is being unmarshaled or deserialized, then values of those parameter will go to the respective parameter, and that parameter will be executed for within the program inside the web service, and there will be a result would be generated, means result would be some response, and that response will go to the client. How it goes with the help of SOAP response. Then again marshalling would be required in the SOAP message. SOAP response marshalling would be done, means arrangement of that response 1 value, response 2 value, response 3 value would be there for preparation of SOAP response, and then SOAP response will go to the client over HTTP protocol, means same internet, and then again that client will do unmarshalling, means deserializing that SOAP response, means response value 1, response value 2, response value 3, and then again that client could use those response value and process it or program it. So there's basically WSDL have two parts, that client stub or server stub. So in the client stub, client code that generates SOAP request were there and interpret that SOAP response sent to the server. Then server stub, so server side code that interpret that SOAP request sent by the client and generate SOAP response. Next, web service invocation. So how that web service invocation would be done? This was the basic architecture of that web service, means innermost part would be the web service logical code, means exact program and programming would be done inside this web service part, and then SOAP engine was there for SOAP request and SOAP response, and then application server was there, means a website like thing would be there, and then this HTTP server for HTTP protocol communication over internet. So this web service, SOAP engine, and application server and HTTP server was there for web service invocation. Next, it was grid architecture were the forefathers of cloud computing. So grid computing was the old part of cloud computing. What we see in cloud computing today is actually came from grid computing. What is grid architecture does? Grid architecture basically does fabric layers, connectivity layers, resource layers, collective layers, and application layers. So in the fabric layer, grid provides access to the different resource type such as compute, storage, and network resource and code repository. So in fabric layer, there are various resources. For example, some disk space were available, and for computing CPU part was available. CPU resource computation would be available. Network resources like switches, means protocol should how the packet could be transferred with the particular protocol. Some code repositories for some execution of the program. These are the fabric layer part. This architecture we are discussing of old technology, means old kind of grid computing, and then connectivity layer. So in the connectivity layer, communication and authentication was being done for secure transactions, means for secure communication between one machine to another machine. This was being managed by connectivity layer. And resource layer, what it does publication, means where is that web service was kept, and means discovering that, and then monitoring of that web service, accounting and payment of sharing, how the operation could be used by an individual or some individual resource could be shared. So all these things are being done by resource layer, and all these things, that fabric, connectivity layer, resource layer, collective layer and this application layer were old technology. In the collective layer, interaction of different collection of layer through some directory services are being done, and that would be helped by some monitoring and discovering service. So this part was being done by collective layer. And application layer is the front end type of thing, and which has some interface that could be used by some client. So it comprises whatever user application built on the top of above protocol and API operates in the VO environment. Application layer would be one of the topmost layer, and it helps to communicate using some protocol like HTTP with the help of some APIs. Next, all these things came up into the cloud architecture. How it came up? So fabric layer is exactly the same. So fabric layer would stood same as the earlier layer. In the fabric layer, the same thing, hardware level resources such as compute resource, storage resource, and network resources were there. And unified layer, resource layer. Unified resource layer, what it does? It does virtualization, as we studied, and abstraction of the resources behind the server. So this was the purpose of virtualization, means abstraction and encapsulation, as it was one of the upper layer, means to expose the upper layer, means unified resource layer would be the lowermost layer, and it is exposing resources, virtualized resources, to the upper layer. What are the upper layer? Platform layer and application layer. And what unified resource layer does? It does integration of resources like computing power, CPU, or some database system, or some RAM, or logical file system, means operating system. All these things were being managed by unified resource layer. Next, platform layer. It is some collection of special tools like middleware, like Hadoop. So platform layer is like Hadoop management, and then service on the top of unified layer. So platform layer works over unified resource layer to provide some of the development and deployment platforms. So what platform layer does? Platform layer does deployment and development things over unified resource layer. And some of the example is for web hosting environment. So a web hosting environment means you can deploy your web application over that web hosting environment. What example of web hosting environment we have seen? Google App Engine. So Google App Engine is one of the web hosting environment, and some scheduling of different services are also being done by the platform layers. So these are the functions and features of platform layer. Then application layer contains various application deployed over platform layer, and that works and run over the cloud, and that is platform layer and unified layer, which were having all the fabric layer resources. So this is what the grid computing had given to the cloud computing. So grid architecture of fabric layer, connectivity layer, resource layer, collective layer, and application layer is being converted to fabric layer, unified resource layer, platform layer, and application layer. So this unified resource layer or fabric layer together combined to form infrastructure as a service layer. Did you get my point? Fabric layer plus unified resource layer combined to form infrastructure as a service layer. Then platform layer could is equivalent to the platform as a service, and application layer is equivalent to the service software as a service. And this fabric layer, unified resource layer, platform layer, and application layer was being published in 2008 by Ian Foster, and it was very old terminologies which converted grid technology to cloud technologies. So this is the equivalence of both the things. Next, we'll see how these are being incorporated, means grid and cloud architecture being worked out. All the layer of being influenced with the fundamental concept of service technology. So service technologies are the fundamental behind all both the architectures. Basically, fabric layer or the hardware level layer is common between the grid and the cloud. Then connectivity and resource layer is being combined together to become unified resource layer. And then collective layer became platform layer and application layer remain the same. So the topmost part, application layer, and the bottommost part, fabric layer, were same in grid computing and cloud. But the intermediate part, connectivity and resource, became unified resource, and collective resource became platform. This was the work being expressed in 2008. Nowadays, what we see, fabric layer and unified resource layer together being termed as infrastructure as a service, and platform layer is said to be platform as a service, and application layer is said to be software as a service. So this type of cloud architecture, modern cloud architecture, we had already seen. Thanks, students. So we'll finish our lecture over here, and in the next class we'll see transactional, on demand, and distributed computing, where we'll see different kind of NoSQL transactional database systems, how the on demand computing works for the utility computing, and standard definition for distributed computing. Thanks all of you. So see you in the next class. Bye.